Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Leaf. Today we'll be making homemade baked lasagna. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. I'm going to present our ingredients for this recipe today, which is 1 pound of ground turkey, 1 medium cut up onion, 1 bell green pepper cut up, a half a package of mushrooms cut up. We have 1 package of shredded cheese, cheddar cheese. We have 1 package of shredded mozzarella cheese. Here is a 15-ounce container of ricotta cheese. And here we have our 1 pound package of lasagna noodles. And over here we have our spaghetti sauces. We have our chunky Italian spaghetti sauces, and we'll be adding a can of chili diced tomatoes to it. Now we're going to get started with the cooking of or the sauteing of our vegetables, which is the onions, the green peppers, and the mushrooms. We're going to put it in a pot, or if you have a large pan with oil, you preheat the oil. We're going to be sauteing these a few minutes, not to get mushy, but just give it a little color to it. Oops. And as all good cooks know, sometimes a couple pieces will fall, but it's okay. Now you take your vegetables, your onions, your green peppers, and your mushrooms, and you put them in the pot, and you're going to be sauteing them a couple minutes, like I said. Now with this, we're going to be adding garlic powder. You just sprinkle a little over top. We're going to add Italian seasoning. You just sprinkle a little bit over top of your vegetables as they're sauteing. You sprinkle a little onion powder too. Gives it a little more punch to it, to your sauce. And also parsley flakes. We'll be putting some of that in here. Now, as this cooks, you want to stir it to incorporate all the ingredients in here. That will help it to come together. And it's good to have your heat on medium. I just turned it down to low by mistake. Sometimes we cooks, we make a little mistakes, but hey, we're human. So all this will be cooking together, coming together. As this comes together, we will be adding our 1 pound of ground turkey. Now, you don't have to put 1 pound of ground turkey. Sometimes I just leave it as it is and add more vegetables in my sauce for lasagna. Sometimes I don't add the ground turkey at all. Sometimes I'll eat it like vegetarian style, which is good too, and filling. So as this cooks, we'll give it a couple of more minutes. You hear that sizzle? That's what you want to hear when you're cooking, when you're frying or sauteing items. You want to hear that sizzle. That means that your vegetables are happy. Now, like I said, as this is cooking more, we want to add our ground turkey. Now, I went ahead before time and I ground this up. It's in little pieces, the ground turkey. You want to add this in to your pot of happy vegetables. You want to mix this together more so that it all comes together. Now when you're sauteing your vegetables in your pot or your pan, you want to put oil in it so that it can, won't stick and burn. You just want to put enough oil in there to coat the bottom of it, not drown it, but just coat the bottom of it. So we have this cooking up nicely. And to this mixture, after it's sauteing, we're going to be taking our sauces, our spaghetti sauces here, and we're going to be adding that to it. Adding that to the, it's like making spaghetti, but it's going to be with lasagna noodles. I also make homemade sauce too, spaghetti sauce. But sometimes I like using the jar sauce and then adding my twist to it with the onions, more onions and other vegetables in it. That gives it a more better taste, a more unique taste, a more taste like you, how you like it. So after this cooks down a bit, we want to add our sauces. And for this recipe, I use 2 jars of the spaghetti sauce. It could be any kind, any flavor. Also, I will be adding, after I mix this together, and I'll tell you how much of it I'll add, some of the can of the chili tomatoes to this. And that will give it like a, an added punch flavor, something that's unique with you. Okay, now here I'm going to be adding, this is the can of chili ready tomatoes, and I'll say about a half a can is good. That's about a half. And you mix that all together. It all will come together. And I say you have this simmering for about 5 minutes. Now we're going to get ready to assemble the lasagna. But before I do, as your sauce is cooking, you can also add added ingredients to it if you like. I sprinkle some Italian seasoning in here, garlic powder, parsley, and a little bit of onion powder in my sauce as it cooked. And you should let this sauce cook or simmer on low heat for about a half hour to get them all together and incorporated and everything. Now, before we start assembly on this, I want to tell you about the ricotta. It's a 15-ounce jar of whole milk ricotta. You can use part skim. And you put it in a bowl, and you add 1 egg in it, and you can add some seasoning to it, some parsley, Italian seasoning, garlic powder in it, and you mix it all together. And that's how I do mine. Now the first step you do with the assembly of this, the lasagna, is I take a little bit of the sauce, just a little bit, maybe a spoonful. And I'm using a small pan. You can use a bigger pan if you want. If you use a bigger pan, then you got to increase your ingredients. But I'm using a small pan today. I put about a couple spoons of sauce on the bottom so that the lasagna doesn't stick, the noodles doesn't stick while it's cooking. And then this is going to be a 3-layer lasagna. So this is our first layer. You put the lasagna noodles over top of your sauce. Then you add a couple spoons of your ricotta mixture over top of the lasagna noodles. So you go 1, 2, and you spread it. You might have to add another spoon to it because you spread it. You want to spread it from the beginning to the end. That was about 4 spoons. You want to make it nice and even. You might want, like I said, you want to make it nice and even all the way around. So that was about 5 spoons I put in here. We'll add another one, okay? 1 more for good measure, huh? Now after that, you want to put a layer of your sauce over top, your meat sauce. And you want to have it all from end to end, every corner you're hitting. Now after you do this, you're going to sprinkle a layer of your cheeses, your mixed cheeses. I mix mozzarella and cheddar shredded cheese together. And sometimes I'll shred my own cheese, block of mozzarella. I shred that and put it over top sometimes instead of using the prepackaged one. So you want to put a nice even layer of your mixed cheeses over top. And if you like more cheeses, you can put more on top of there. It's to your liking, really. Lasagna is really to your liking. Now we're going to start with the second layer, which is, that was the first layer. The second layer is the same, repeating the second layer, and this time I'm going crosswise. So this is our layer of lasagna noodles, and then we're going to have our layer of ricotta mixture that I told you about. I'm going to spread that all the way, corner to corner. Everything gets covered. Everything gets covered. So after we do that, we're going to be putting our sauce on top of this here. So we're going to get our sauce. We're going to pour our sauce over top, spoon our sauce over top, not pour. That'd be a mess. And this is like a hearty meal. It could be anytime, any season meal. But like as I said before, we're coming into fall, and this is like one of them good old comfort foods. Nice plate of lasagna and some hot bread and a nice salad, and you're good to go. And after we put our sauce on here, we're going to put our cheese, another layer of cheese over top. We might add a little bit more cheese as we're getting closer to the top of this. Just sprinkle it all around. And now we're going to go for our last layer of lasagna noodles. Go back as we started, this way. So I layered it, each layer was like a crisscross pattern. The first layer went this way, the second layer like that, and then this third layer is that way, like as the first layer was. So we have the third layer of noodles. Then we're going to finish up with the rest of this ricotta. All in here. That's it. We're going to spread this out, corner to corner. Everything gets covered. And as we do this, now we add our sauce on top. It's going to be like almost the rest of the sauce. All depends on how much you need. Now that we added all the sauce to the top layer and the rest of the sauce, what I usually do is, because I love vegetables, I usually take some fresh spinach and I dice it up, cut it up in small, fine pieces, look like lettuce, and I sprinkle it on top for my top layer. Sprinkle it all around. This is going to give it like an added vegetable to it. Which you all know, we should all eat our vegetables. That's what Mom said. So, okay, since that's done, we're going to put the final touches of the cheese. Now you can load it up with the cheese on top. So we're going to sprinkle our cheese on top of here. Don't that look good? Yummy, yummy. Yummy to our tummies. Put some more, just a little bit more cheese on top of here. Every corner, every nook and cranny will get some. There we go, that's the rest of the cheese. So that was exactly 2 packages of that shredded cheese, cheddar and mozzarella. Now what I do is I add my final touch seasonings, what I've been using. Sprinkle a little bit of the Italian seasoning on top, just a little bit. Sprinkle some parsley on top of that, all around, because this is like the showpiece. This is your top layer, which is going to be seen. And the garlic powder, just a little. In my eyes, that's a little. And then the onion powder, just a little. There we go. Now, what I usually do is the ends here, I usually take a knife and I just go along the edges here and cut them, which I will do that now. I go along the edge and just cut off these ends so they don't be overlapping. Sometimes you can fold them in as you're making it so they don't overlap. Then I do this all the way around. All the way around. And then once this is done, we're going to be baking it in the oven on 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. And you can check it. If you have newer ovens, you can check it and make sure that it's not burning, you know. But it usually takes about 30 minutes to cook this. You want your cheese to be melting and have like a little brown look to it on top, the cheese. So we're going to get ready to put this in the oven, and we'll see you in a few minutes. And we're back. And as you see, the lasagna is done. It's been baking in the oven for 30 minutes, 350 degrees. And this is the final product of it. And here we have our final product. We have our piece of baked lasagna, homemade lasagna with toast bread. And we have our salad. And for dessert, we have our homemade cherry cheesecake. And if you like this here video and you would like to see more of this content, please hit the like button and subscribe. And I'll see you next time with Cooking with Leaf. Bye-bye.